Yo, 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 I'm a gangster man. That's what all the kids do nowadays, right? Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is TheCano here today for another vlog thing on the TheCanoCam. Because it's been a while, but, you know, that kind of thing happens when I'm busy with school and stuff, which, I mean, I've just recently finished that, but that's not going to be the main topic of this vlog, as I like to call them. Yes, you always have to have the quotations. Because, I mean, if you don't have a quotation, then, I mean, what's wrong with you, man? But yeah, because, I mean, it's crazy that I just finished that, because for 4 months, I believe it's 4 months for a semester term thing, and a lot of work to be done, but then at the end of that, it's all worth it in the end when going to Calgary Comic-Con. Because Comic-Con, this is the first convention thing, if you can call it a convention, that I went to, because I mean, still, it's pretty small scale, but I mean, it's large scale in a way too, because I mean, it's in Calgary, and they had a lot of major guests, like the guys from Middle-earth Exposed, but I'm gonna get to that later. I want to start from the beginning of my trip, because basically, on Friday, the 20-somethingth of April, this is very professional, we're all ready to start, but traveling from like Edmonton to Calgary, it's like 360 something kilometers. I don't know, I'd have to check the correct facts, but it's quite a big distance. Most of it's a straight line, but I managed to, you know, get lost on my way there, which was kind of bad. Well, at least I got lost only once, let's just say that. I got lost going through a place called Devon, because I like to take the through route, because I don't necessarily and technically live in Edmonton. I live past, well, would it be? I'm trying to think of, like, is the camera mirrored, or is it not? I think it's not mirrored, so then, I mean, it would be over here. What if I just, like, do letters into the camera, and then I can figure it out? I get distracted very easily, but still, you should never trust your memory, basically, from over 10 years ago, from being a passenger in a vehicle. Because if you're a passenger in a vehicle, you're not really actively paying attention to when you are, to what turns you should make and all that. And then I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna just pay attention to what my memory says, and it's gonna be no problem for driving. But no, I turned a bit too early, and then I was in some person's, like, driveway, and I'm just like, what do I do? So I looked at my brand new phone, and I figured it all out. Because, I mean, maps, they exist. That and also common sense, sort of. But when I actually got to my hotel room for Comic-Con, I have to say, like, look at this. Look at that. Oh. It's sugared citrus. It smells, I was gonna say, and tastes like, even though I didn't taste it, but I mean, I probably, no, that's still a bad idea. Never eat soap. Because that's why people back in the day, they had that as like a punishment. They're just like, I'm gonna wash out your mouth with soap, because it's terrible. Even if, like, this smells like orange pop, which is crazy. Because, I mean, that's what sugared citrus is. If you think about it, it's pop. So, yeah, that was the best thing in the hotel room, exactly. I might show, like, a picture, because I have a picture on my phone of, like, out the window of my hotel room. I mean, it's pretty extravagant. I was on the 8th floor of this one hotel, and also, for some reason, they had, like, a ton of water all over the hotel room. Of just, like, bottled water that you could drink, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I'll take this. And then I looked at the other one, and it actually said, if you use this, you have to pay $4 or something. And I'm like, yeah, screw that. Water's not worth it when I can get it out of the tap. And the tap water actually tasted better there than the bottled water, because the bottled water, I think, is, like, partially distilled? I don't know. But it wasn't as good. But, yeah. That's probably pretty much enough about the hotel room, other than, like, they came in there a lot, which was weird. They kept cleaning my hotel room non-stop, like, twice a day. That's how they got more soap, because they saw, hey, this guy actually used his soap. Even if it says facial soap, it's definitely for your hands, because they don't have specific soap for your hands, so you use that. And, yeah. I like to go on about random things like soap, because I mean, that was very fascinating. I mean, you do not even know. It's so good. But still, I got there pretty late on that first day because of that. The whole soap conundrum and charging my phone and whatnot. So that's why, like, on the first day, I didn't do too much other than I explored. I don't remember what the place was called, but it's like this. It's not the Stampede Corral, because I mean that's where they have all their events. But it's like the flag building. I don't know. I'm thinking of something else, because the flag building is like the place where you get your wristband. I have that still, which I might want to quickly. Come on, can I get this wristband? Ew, like, there we go. Because look at this. I have the wristband still. That's upside down. 4-day pass, yes. But I somehow managed to get the thing off without ripping it, because I mean, there's like the little like tab thingy, and I don't know how, but I mean, I could reattach that and put it on my wrist again, which you're not supposed to be able to do. So I don't know what about they would have for colorations of wristbands and stuff next year, because I mean, I don't really know for sure, but I just assume that Comic-Con's like every year, at least in Calgary, like it is every year other places in the world. But no, I don't think that would really work so well. If they have red for even one day, I could just like pretend even then. But even if I was going to Comic-Con, I would pay, because I mean, that's kind of, I wouldn't want to be going, hey, I have a thing, and then they kick me out, because I mean, then what's the point? Because I mean, it's a long drive, and I don't want to get lost again. I'm just gonna throw that on the ground. Throw it on the ground! Don't want any of your systems. But yeah, the first day I went through that one building, and I noticed that, well, I bought this shirt. You know, this is like the best shirt ever. See, because it's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Squirtles. And, get the lighting, yeah. Squirtles. It's like one of my favorite Pokemon, and I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so I mean, it's like a perfect fit. Like, and also I bought this other t-shirt on the first day, which is, look at that. I can't even see the camera, but I'm just assuming that that's in the correct spot. Always assume. Assuming is the best thing possible in life. But, the hero of space and time. I just love these, like, mashup kind of shirts, because the licensed shirts that are actually there that are official, most of the ones I saw there are ones that are like all other shirts that I can find, like, at Walmart. And I'd rather buy the crazy ones that you cannot find anywhere else, because, I mean, whoa, they're awesome. But, yeah, so when I was walking around in that place, I found a few people that was pretty awesome for pictures. I'll throw a couple pictures of cosplayers, maybe, because there was like a He-Man guy. I mean, that was pretty cool. Like, I saw the He-Man and Skeletor, I'm just like, must take picture. Oh man, there's a few pictures. I'm gonna look at my phone for this, because there was also, yeah, I saw Bane in there. That was weird, because somebody else was taking a picture of Bane, and I'm just like, can I take another picture too? I want to take a picture, and I just like jumped in and just like took a picture too. And there was, for some reason, Shell from, like, you know, somebody dressed up as Shell from Portal was like walking in the background, and I just randomly got her in there too, and I'm just like, hey, that's pretty good. But in that area, other than cosplayers and whatnot, there's this one place. I don't even know how to start this story, but basically, there's a lot of vendor type people, you know, that's selling shirts, they do whatever, and this one place, it was all about paintballing. This one guy just, like, I was walking by and he's like, hey, you sir, you like paintballing? Have you gone paintballing before? And I'm just like, yeah, I've gone paintballing, who hasn't? You know, like I usually am with my calm demeanor and all that. But, people are just very, very much aggressive and like too good of salesmen, because for the next like 10 minutes I was talking to this guy and he's just saying about, well, look at all these paintball things that we have. We have our special pack that only for this convention. Regularly it's like 12 tickets for like $300 for going paintballing, but here we're gonna give you 12 tickets for $99. And he's saying like all the great value for this. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool, yeah. I don't know where your locations are, and they like pulled up their computer and showed where the locations are around Edmonton, because I mean, that's more likely I would go there, even though Young Guns is where it's at. Yeah, not really. I'm not really that much of a paintballing guy, actually. As you can probably tell, but yeah. It was messed up. This guy really wanted me to pay for these paintballing tickets, and I'm just like, I don't know, it's a good deal, but I'm gonna come back a different day. And I just like run away, basically. Because, man, people and their sales pitches that are bitches. Oh boy, it was really, really bad. Being there for that long talking to him, it was no. But yeah, also on the first day, like after I bought like these shirts and stuff, I went back. I think I went back to the hotel after that, or I just like went straight over to the other convention for a little bit. Well, the other building of the convention, which had a bunch of art. I really liked enjoying, like, I liked to enjoy looking at the art, yes. And I would just walk around there. There was this, like, nice guy that was... They had a 3D printer, apparently, and they did something they're not supposed to, because they, like, heated up the stuff that comes out of the 3D printer. And it's supposed to be really toxic and whatnot, and it could, like, burn through your skin or something like that. I don't know. I don't really remember the details, but whatever they were doing was very dangerous, and it made the 3D printer... You know how the 3D printer, like, the items that come out of that look? It was all really shiny, and it looked awesome, but... Yeah, enough of the art thing. I went to the video game place. The video game place. I should probably have their card somewhere around here, but... I think they're like Retro Game Trader or something like that. They have 2 locations in Calgary. And, like... Yeah. I can't believe I found this. It was like... Even though it says on here like 70 or something like that, it's like a sale. I got like for 50 bucks. And it was worth it. Because finding the special edition that is actually the bank, like, box thing and all that, and also it has the soundtrack, even though it's not really that important. That's probably why the soundtrack is mint and it's sealed inside there. Because, still, it's a collector kind of thing. I already have GTA 4, but I mean, for 50 bucks and actually getting all the stuff that came with the collector's edition, well, special edition, that is, that it's called, it's worth it. So, like, and also on that first day of, like, going to that game place, I also got a power cord for my Super Nintendo, which I can now play that now. I can't record, I don't think, because it's probably the same thing with N64, and it, like, screws it up with my PVR. But, hey, I fixed stuff. And also I made them a list. But other than that, on the first day, that was... I didn't really do much else other than just exploring. And that night, though, I went to the Lord of the Rings Exposed, like, thing that you actually had to pay an extra, like, 50 bucks for. But it was, like, the best 50 bucks I ever spent. It was, like... Originally, I only thought it was going to be, like, an hour and a half, like, 2 hours. I think it was, like, 3 and a bit. Or I think it was nearing 3 hours, at least. 3 hours of entertainment for 50 bucks where they had Billy Boyd. That's what I have to say. They had Billy Boyd. And anything with Billy Boyd, which he's the actor for Pippin, Peregrine Took in Lord of the Rings. So I'm a big fan of his, and just all the things there. Like, they had a bunch of actors. They also had Sean Astin. They had... I forget their names. I probably should look them up. But they had like 3 of the dwarf guys from the Hobbit movies, and they They sang Misty Mountains Cold. And, oh man, that was amazing. Even though there's only 3 of them there, 3 of them alone makes it sound like just as good or better still than in the movie. And I just like, oh man, it was so good. That and also Billy Boyd, which he's Billy Boyd. He sang his like The Edge of Night. I believe that's what it's called. Yeah, like Pippin's song that is he sings in Return of the King. And when he sang that song, like everybody in this massive like arena of the Stampede Corral went completely silent for when he sang the song. And right when he like ended, there was a brief pause and everybody just like, wow, that was crazy. But after that brief pause, there's probably like the loudest applause I've ever heard and cheering, because that was crazy. Billy Boyd, it was worth it for him. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a big fan of his still. Which is kind of sad that like I only found where, well, I mean, I guess I could have, but I didn't want to spend like 3 hours waiting in a line to like talk to him and be like, hey, can you sign something for me? Even though it might have been worth it, but I know a lot of those lines, because at the actual convention there's a lot of places where they have all the people that are there that are guests, you could call them, and they would all have like times in which they would be there for signing autographs. You could get like pictures with them at this time that you'd have to pay for things like that apparently too. What I remember hearing, I didn't really check completely into that because I'm just like, yeah, the line like goes all the way around here, all the way around there, and even more. And I have a lot to look and to see, so I didn't bother. But that probably would have been worth it, because still, Billy Boyd, he was there quite a bit. And yeah. But yeah, Middle Earth, yeah, that's what it was called. Middle Earth Exposed, not Lord of the Rings Exposed. I'm terrible at remembering. But it was awesome. I don't know how else to describe it other than that. I wish that I would have taken pictures during that, but I mean, I was in the 21st row, 29th seat. I was right in the middle, like in the aisle. From that far back, I would not be able to get any pictures with this thing. Even though this camera is pretty amazing still, of being an iPhone. Because iPhones are good with cameras. No, I just can't. I could not get any good pictures. So, yeah. But on the second day, though, moving on, it's a good thing, like, the first 2 days are, like, all that I have to really talk about, because the third day I didn't, really. I went there just basically to do a quick, like, loop around and check games, but the second day, I bought a hat. As you could see before. It's actually one of the, not a flat brim hat, which I thought it originally was, when I'm just like, I'm not buying this thing, but I mean, I wanted a hat, even though, like, I barely ever wore hats. I wanted at least to have one, just in case I ever want to wear one. And, I mean, still, the Triforce, which is like the Twilight Princess version, apparently, which is very popular, because I also bought a belt buckle instead of my Luigi belt, but I mean, like, oh, look at that. Ooh, it's so shiny. But I also bought that, which is the Twilight Princess style, so, yeah. Because that was what was happening on the second day. But I might want to just do a quick story, if you can call it quick, about... So with my hotel room, this is, of course, after I got back from Middle Earth Exposed on the first day, I realized that my parking meter thing in the building, the parkade that I was in, it only goes until 5 a.m. So, like, when I went to sleep that night, I'm just like, you know what? I gotta put a thing on my phone to wake me up at like 5 to try to, you know, put money in there. And that's when I found out. I woke up at 5 a.m. to try to put money into the meter thing so that I would, you know, not get tickets. Which I didn't get a ticket anyway, but I went in, like, I was trying to get in there and I found out, like, this building is locked on, and it doesn't open up on Saturdays or Sundays. So I went to the other entrance to that one building because I wanted to get to the 15+ walkway, but it didn't it wouldn't let me go in there, and I'm just like, what do I do? And I was freaking out, and I didn't realize that there was actually an open door in the actual building itself. But, yeah. So, I was really depressed. I think, like, I wasted quite a few minutes on that. It was getting closer to 6 at that point. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm really hungry. I'm gonna go to McDonald's. Because, well, I was looking for just places that are open 24 hours and, like, are open at 5 or it's, like, 6 a.m. And most places aren't. Other than McDonald's, and I think the Subway was open next to it, but I didn't know if that was actually a true thing or not, so I'm just like, okay, I'll go here. But I found out during that I'm very good at blending in with the hobos. Because, well, I don't know if that's a good term of calling them, because, I mean, that's not very nice. Maybe, like, the homeless people that don't have very much money. But still, I blended in quite well, because I wasn't wearing this hoodie, but I was wearing a hoodie. I was wearing my coat that is, like, really old at this point, too, and you know, I don't wear very fancy clothes to begin with, as you can probably tell. I buy, like, everything at Walmart, so I can blend in quite well, and you're just like, hey, how's it going? And I'm just like, oh, well, I can't... I'm just looking for places to find food here, and they're just like, oh, yeah, I know the feeling, or something like that. It was the weirdest conversation ever, but I just blend in with the hobos. I blend in. And I went and got some... McDonald's food, which the bacon egg McMuffin is actually pretty good. I never had it before until this trip. It's good. It was still messed up. So I went back to sleep after that, like after having breakfast that early in the morning, and then I ate again later. But when I came back, like when I started to go to Comic-Con for like the 12 o'clock, because at 12 o'clock there was the Doctor Who panel. That's what you call it. It's a panel. Like a panel that you put on a house, but better. So at the panel, I think I got to, I went off the, they call it the C train. Like C is in the letter C. I still think this is mirrored, so I'm going to say that's a C. So, I got off the C trains, I think it was like 11:30 or something like that, and I'm just like, oh no, the panel starts at 12:30, and if I'm not there half an hour, like, inside at half an hour before, I'm probably not gonna find a seat. Or at least a good seat. And so I was, like, running over there, and while I was running there, I'm just like, wow! Because I saw... I'm gonna put pictures on the screen. It's also snowing this day, because, I mean, Canada. It snows all the time. But, yeah, even when it's supposed to be spring and pretty warm. It was actually pretty warm that day, even if it was snowing. But I saw that there was the guys all dressed up in, like, Halo armor, and they were, like, having a bunch of pictures taken of them, and I just, like, took a couple quick pictures, and I'm just like, oh, and it looks so, like, that one picture with the snow, it is just really, like, cinematic, and it looks so awesome. I just love the way it looks, because of the snow specifically, too. If it didn't have the snow there, it might... I mean, it still would be a good picture, but it just adds, like, another layer of just, like, authenticity. Oh, wait, no, that doesn't work, because it's symmetricity. Authenticity... Oh, whatever. It doesn't... It will work, if I think about it. But, yeah, I just, like, quickly took a couple pictures and then went to the Doctor Who thing, which, like, having Matt Smith and Karen Gillan... I can never pronounce her last name. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing it properly there. But... that was pretty much exactly the way I expected it to go. Because, like, Matt Smith, he is a hilarious guy. Because they just had somebody from Nerdist? I think that's correct. Because it's like those guys that, like, I believe that they have a UK affiliate, and then they have their American version, which is, like, everybody knows about Nerdist. I believe it's Nerdist. If I'm saying it wrong, and if it's not called Nerdist, I'm gonna be looking terrible, but... the main guy from that was not there, but I mean, they had a different guy. He was interviewing Matt Smith and Karen Gillan, and still, all the answers, just brilliant. They are hilarious, those two. Especially together, because, I mean, the way Matt Smith just, like, makes fun of Ms. Karen Gillan all the time, and, like, her responses to that, it just... It's hilarious, especially since, like, they kept referring back to, like, oh, what is that episode called again? It's like the Rebel Flesh, yes. That she's just like, Rebel Flesh, I just recently watched that, and she was, like, talking about that so much, and, just, I don't know how to describe it, because, I mean, you had to be there, you had to be there. Yeah. But that was definitely worth it as well. That was free, of course, because, I mean, panels generally are free. Unlike, I mean, you wouldn't call it a panel with the Middle-earth exposed, but whatever. Panels work really well in that form, and Doctor Who. Anything with Doctor Who, I'm a big fan. As you can still tell. Especially with Doctor Who / Zelda. And also on that day, I'm gonna start to, you know, wrap things up possibly here. Because, I mean, I'm talking for a long time, as usual. I went around to the video game place again. Like, I found out on that day that it's not just that one major video game place, the Retro Game Trader guys, that have, like, all the retro games. Because, like, right along the other side of the booth, there was people with, like, gold cartridges of the original Legend of Zelda, and I was really considering buying that, but, I mean, I think it was, like, 80 bucks for the gold cart, plus the instruction booklet. It didn't have the original, like, box. If it had the box, I would maybe buy that. But, I mean, the box with the gold cart is, like, so very difficult to find. And very expensive. Very, very expensive. At least it's not as expensive as, like, there was something for $500 that was ridiculous. I think that even Pokemon Stadium 2, like, with the box, that's, like, 250 bucks or something like that for N64. But, I mean, something that's cheaper for N64, but is very rare, Jet Force Gemini. Oh, man, I can't believe I found that. That is really hard to find. At least, it seems like it, but then they had 2 of those boxes, which is ridiculous. So I bought that, and also, like, I was looking for GameCube games, specifically Kirby Air Ride, which I found, by the way. Kirby Air Ride! And I was thinking, like, well, maybe somebody else will have it. It was at the very back corner. There was some other guy that, like, was, you know, selling games. He also sold this, which I had to get that. And the Star Wars, specifically, like, just the Rogue Squadron games are amazing. But like, I wanted to buy those 2 games, and I was asking, like, do you have debit? Do you have debit? And what is that? Is that my coat? Or is that something behind me? Or is that my... Oh, it's my hat. Anyway. Stuff. Yeah, I was thinking that, like, do you have a debit card machine or whatever? And they're just like, no. So, they, like, bumped down the price as a result of that. Because, I mean, I'm good at bargaining by saying, if you don't have one of these cards, you know, if I can't use my bank card, then, I mean, what's the point? So it went down to like $100 for those 2 games, because, I mean, Kirby Air Ride, I think this was originally supposed to be $70, but it is very good condition. It has everything in here. It even has, like, the thing for Nintendo Power, which everybody throws those out, pretty much, so. Or uses it, but, I mean. And the disc is really good, so I say that was worth 70 bucks, even though, like, I got it for less due to my bargaining. Yeah. But other than that, on the second day, I went back to that one building. That's really shiny. And I got this through a mini-game type thing. It was like 10 bucks to, you know in Legend of Zelda, how you break pots. And in a pot, you know, like in the pot you can find, like, you know, rupees usually. If you're going, especially in Ocarina of Time, into that one building, it's just like all rupees every time. And that's how you get money in the game. But they're just like, hey, smash a pot, get a rupee thing. And I was wearing my Legend of Zelda hat at the time. That's probably why, like, they were, like, going and telling me to go and play the game. But yeah, if you play the game, you can win art. And I got, like, a blue rupee or something like that, so I did win. And I chose Master Chief, even though there was some pretty nice Legend of Zelda art stuff. I mean, I love this. Master Chief was pretty good. That's pretty nice quality of art. It was worth like the $5 or $10 that I spent to play this minigame thing. Because, I mean, I just obliterated that pot. Because they just, like, since they don't want to have pieces flying everywhere, they just have it, like, in a little contained area. And, yeah, you get this big wooden mallet. And, I don't know how to describe it other than, the pot was there, I just, like, smashed it completely with one swing. And the guy there, he was dressed up as Spider-Man for some reason, I don't know. I probably should have taken a picture of him just because, I mean, it's hilarious, because, I mean, it wasn't that good of a quality Spider-Man either. And he's just like, wow, that's really impressive. Because, I mean, still, I guess most people are just like, you know, they're very gentle with the smashing of pots, and I'm just like, oh, bam! Die! And it was amazing. The second day of doing things like that, and then also exploring, that was so much fun. Because also I have another story. Oh yeah, when I was exploring, I might want to put up another picture. Well, more pictures of just random things. I found, like, oh yeah, there was Lego. There's people dressed up as Lego guys. I found Master Chief, the red version. I also found, like, a weeping angel. That was pretty cool. Borderlands guy. And I think that other, like, the woman in that is supposed to be somebody from Destiny? I think that is. I'm not entirely sure, but I mean, I take the picture anyway. And, but I mean, there was like a samurai Hello Kitty guy. And I remember, like, when I was, like, I was asking him, can I take a picture of you? There was somebody else beside me who was just like, I need to take a picture as well, because, I mean, nobody would ever believe this. Because, I mean, nobody would believe the samurai Hello Kitty. Samurai Hello Kitty is pretty amazing. But after, like, seeing a bunch more cosplayer people, I went over to this other section of the building, which had mostly, you know, with the lineups and whatnot for the famous people that are there, what you want to talk to. And from that, I did see an R2-D2, like a really good... I don't know what you would really say for this, because, I mean, it's... The R2 quality of this, it was like... movie, basically. It could have been one of the props they used in the movie, and they just, like... Because they did actually use in the movie one of their, like, robotic versions of R2. And I'm pretty sure this was a robot one. But whoever was controlling it, whether there was a person on the inside, I doubt there was, I still think. But... especially since the way he was rolling. Because, I mean, if you're rolling like that, you're usually not having somebody inside of it. But somebody was using a remote control, I'm pretty sure. And they were trolling me. Because I'm just like, oh, I'm going to take a picture of R2. I mean, I didn't ask the robot if I could take a picture, which, I mean, I guess I could have. But if you're talking to the robot, I mean, there's nobody there. So I did the same thing which anybody would do if you just see R2, like, you know, driving around. I was going to take a picture, and you can see I'm just, like, lining up my camera and just, like, getting ready to take a picture, and he just starts to drive away and roll. And yeah, he just was messing with me, because whenever I was going to take a picture, I'm like, oh, and he just keeps going away from me. And then there's a bunch of people taking pictures, and he, like, stopped for half a second and just, like, let them take a picture. And I'm just like, aha, I can catch up, and I'm just, like, walking, you know, very casually. I'm just going to take a picture, and then he starts to roll away again. So I have one picture that I saved for sure of my R2 getting, you know, he was trolling me, which, you know, I probably threw it up by now. And then he just kept going and then stopping for everybody else. And at one point there was a large crowd of people around R2, and I'm just like, aha, I've got you now, R2. There's nowhere you can go. And yeah, I finally made it. Even though, like, I was thinking I was gonna get screwed over yet again, because there was a guy, like, posing next to R2 going, like, ah, and stuff like that for the taking pictures, and I'm like, come on, get out of here, I want to take a picture without you in the thing. And, luckily enough, R2, he stayed in one spot long enough for me to take a picture of him. It was just troublesome. So yeah, picture of R2. Whoop-de-doo. It was a lot more work than what it should have been. A lot more work. Also in that same area, just randomly, here's a picture of like some people that were like messing around with their lightsabers. There was a lot of people with lightsabers around. Like you could buy them, I think they were like $100 for that quality. You can smack people quite well with those things and like no problem. Because that's what I was asking the guy that was selling them. I'm just like, so if I had a lightsaber, are these meant to be like swinging and actually using them as like fighting machines? Fighting weapon fun times? And they're just like, yeah, sure. And then they were just like giving me a demonstration. I'm just like, oh yeah, cool. Like everybody that was a vendor, other than that one guy that was just like a really good salesman, which was being a dick and made me not be able to walk away. But I mean, I guess I could have just been like, yeah, I'm not interested, man. I'm just gonna leave. But I mean, I'm too polite. Maybe. And, oh boy. Things just happened. But everybody else, like, they were really nice. For everybody that I talked to there. Everybody was pretty good at Comic-Con. I don't think I really have anything else to say exactly for that second day. On the third day as well, like, I didn't do... Well, the third day that I was there, that was technically the fourth, because I didn't go there on Thursday, because I would have had to miss another day of the last day of school, and I probably shouldn't miss the last two. Also, because I think I had, like, an exam, because, I mean, it wasn't really an exam, because, I mean, we don't have exams exactly. But on the last day, I basically just went there for the Game Trader yet again, because that's all what I did for the most part. Because retro games, that's what Comic-Con is, basically a retro game collector's paradise. And that's why, oh, I gotta be careful here. I'll show you first Banjo-Kazooie. That's a really good condition one, by the way. Like, this box is, like, nothing wrong with it whatsoever. I think it was like $90 for this. It was so good. I want to play it, but I mean, that might... I haven't even opened this box before. I don't know if it probably has, actually, but... Because, I mean, who would open, like, unwrap it and then just, like, not open it ever? I mean, that's crazy. But that was... I bought that on the last day, because I had a bunch of more money, and I wanted to waste it on video games. Although it's not really a waste, in my opinion, because, I mean, collecting... But this thing... Look at this. I don't know if you can see the shininess of the plastic, but... This has the original plastic. I mean, it has opened. Like, somebody, like, was very smart. Whoever had this before me was very, very smart for this Yoshi story. Because they wanted to, like, open it up and play it, I think, a little bit. But what they did is they just sliced open the side, just very carefully, of the plastic. So then you can actually, you know, you can open it up, play the game, but then it's still in its original plastic. And I think that was only like $100 for that thing. That is very collectible. Very, very collectible, and I feel very insecure and not very safe whenever I, like, touch that, because I do not want to ruin this, like, near mint. I mean, if it was actually in the original plastic, I mean, I probably would have still bought it, and that would have been amazing for Yoshi's Story, but I don't know why I'm holding a pen all of a sudden. It just happens. Yoshi Story, though. It's a pretty good game, but it's even better if you get that good of condition. That's basically what I do for N64 games. N64 games, I'm a major collector of boxes. If I have a good condition box, like I have all my boxes down there. I don't know if it's really worth it to like show them, because I mean, I think I did a couple times before, but a lot of my, like that's how I also found out during this, is that my boxes, like, in my N64 games are probably worth quite a bit of money. Like, my Mario Kart is at least $100 that thing's worth, I would say. I mean, the box is maybe not in the best condition. It has a little bit of, like, an indent on the one portion of it. But other than that, it's, like, it's probably worth $100, because it also has the instruction booklet, which, the one that they're selling there, it was worth $100. It didn't have the instruction booklet. But, I mean, that box was slightly better than my box, so... What you gonna do? I think that's pretty much since I've been talking for way too long, I could probably talk about this for like another, like 5 hours non-stop straight. But Calgary Comic-Con, it was really fun. I'm probably going to go back next year if it is still an annual thing. I need to check on that, because I just assume that it is. Always assume, as I say. Because assuming is the spice of life. Because if you're wrong, oh well. If you're right, then you're the smartest person to have ever existed in this current day and age in the world. But yeah, I've gotten, like, pretty much my new favorite shirt. I've gotten a bunch more games, and I'm looking forward to doing that again and just exploring. Because I mean, and all the people that I met, there was a lot of people that I met. I probably should have been advertising my channel or something like that. But I mean, I didn't even talk about my YouTube channel once that entire time that I was at Comic-Con, which is crazy. But I mean, I was just a regular person, which is strange, because coming from being in radio and television and being, like, still somebody of, you know, some importance, and also just usually being a YouTuber, I mean, that's some importance, and then just, like, going out into a crowd and just being a regular person, exploring Comic-Con. It was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. But, yeah. I think that is it for now, and next time I might talk more about this stuff of school or something like that. Or I'll just talk about whatever I did still in the past, like, month. Because I mean, I'm at least gonna get back on these things now that it's summer. It's summer, it's all good. Fun times ahoy. Goodbye for now, until next time. Yeah. I'm so weird.